In this video, I'm going to be talking about Solana. I'm going to share with you what chart patterns I see right now and why I believe that Solana is about to make a massive move. Let's jump right into it. So on the chart right now, I've got Solana here. I am on the weekly time frame. I am on a logarithmic scale as well. And as you can see, I've got a few things drawn on the chart. The main thing being, if you've seen any of my other videos, you've known that I have been talking about this cup and handle pattern that's happening not only on Solana, but on many other cryptocurrencies. So this leads me to believe that a lot of the crypto market is following this pattern. And from my experience, when a lot of different cryptos or stocks are following one pattern, that means it just gives it more weight and more probability that it plays out that exact pattern. So let me show you exactly what a textbook cup and handle pattern looks like. This would be a continuation version of one. So we have price that comes up, it meets this level of resistance. Then it forms a series of lower lows and lower highs in this kind of downturn. Then it makes a U-turn kind of at this bottom of what this cup area is called. Then it starts making a series of higher highs and higher lows. So this whole series of lower lows and lower highs turning into higher highs and lower lows creates this cup pattern, this kind of semicircle, and price comes right back up to this level of resistance. That's the cup part. Then it makes a very small correction to the downside, a small pullback, which creates the handle in this entire cup and handle pattern. Kind of looks like a little teacup, coffee cup. It does that right before it breaks out to the upside, breaking past this level of resistance. Very bullish pattern once we get over in this section. And so that's the textbook example. And when you look at it on a chart, it's not going to look exactly like a textbook example, but you can see once you start to recognize what that pattern looks like, you could see that here we have price coming up to this level of resistance. It starts making those lower lows and lower highs. Then right down here, we have a bottom. This was in January of 2023. And then it starts to make, excuse me, a series of higher highs and higher lows to where, again, it meets that level of resistance right about here. And then we see that little pullback, that pullback of the handle portion right here. And then what we can expect to see is price to continue and break past that level of resistance. And we are right near the point where it's about to break up to the upside. At least that's my prediction and that's my analysis. So there's a couple other things that give me more confidence in this pattern. The first thing is this pullback here, which was the handle part. So right here. So when we're looking at that, we have the price come up to this level of resistance and we have the small pullback. A lot of times when price makes a small pullback, especially to a moving average, in this case, this orange line is the 50-week moving average. When we see price slowly pull back, a lot of times that's just a period of consolidation right before we see a big move to the upside. When you also look at volume, which are these bars down here, these green and red bars, and you see volume coming down during one of these pullbacks, it means that there's not a ton of selling pressure, meaning there aren't as many active people selling this to push price down. It's more like it's cooling off. You know, we got this big move up. We saw a lot of volume make this move come up. So things just kind of needed to cool down a little bit before it goes even further. So we had several months. Let's see how long this was. So from this high all the way over here, it was, 30 bars, 30 weeks. So over 6 months of price kind of cooling down, if you will, and moving to this moving average. And a lot of times when you see price go ahead and break away from the moving average, it likes to revert back to the mean, as they call it, mean reversion. And so it comes right near that moving average and price starts to go up again. And again, coupled with the reduction or like the decrease in volume, it's like people are not actively selling and they're waiting excuse me, for price to come back to a level before they start buying in. And so we have that. One other thing that I'll mention is, I'll zoom in a little bit here. For different breakouts, sometimes we have a breakout of a certain area, like on this trend line here, and then price will come back and retest that. So we had level of resistance here, level of resistance here. Then it finally broke out on this third attempt, but then price went up a little bit and retested. That's a very healthy thing, a normal thing that can happen on these different breakouts. So we had that basically come back and retest this trend line. And it's also basically retesting this 50-week moving average at the same time at that point. So a lot of confluence there, a lot of things coming together, supporting each other when it comes to the analysis. And so that gives me more confidence that we should see a nice run for Solana. Now, where can we be headed to? And that's when I bring back up this cup and handle pattern. So one of the ways that we can measure for a price target is by measuring the distance from this this line of resistance, what I like to call the lid of the cup and handle pattern, all the way down to the bottom of the cup. If we measure that and then we place it right on top of the lid or right where that level of resistance is, we can then set a price target. And so that's actually what I've done here. I already measured from, and you could do this with the price range tool measurer here in TradingView. You can measure right from the bottom up to the top of this level of resistance. Then you can drag that wherever you want. And so I've done that already. Oops. And so that gives us a price target of around over 4,000, 4,400-ish on Solana. Now you might be thinking, well, price is just sitting at $250 right now. And that's true. And so I'm not necessarily sitting here saying that it's going to go there tomorrow. In fact, it may not even be in this cycle that we actually end up getting to Solana. I do think it's possible that we get there. However, it would definitely take a big move, but we've seen that happen. We've seen that happen in crypto before, where some of these moves are extreme. I mean, they're extremely exponential. I mean, they just take off in a blink. And so it is possible even from here, but that would be a 16x from where we are right now. And so we've seen that happen with different cryptos. As long as there's enough volume, there's enough interest, the entire market is moving up. So I do think it's possible. I don't necessarily, I feel more confident in the level than I do of the price target than I do of the timeline of it happening potentially within this cycle. And just so you understand maybe what my timeline is for the cycle, I think that it could happen. I think the end of the cycle will happen at some point in 2025, maybe towards the end of the year. So there's definitely room to get there. Right here would be the end of 2025, that line right there. So if you look at this chart, I mean, it is possible, just kind of looking at it like, okay, yeah, it's possible. Just the proportion of the chart and how we could get there, it is possible, I do think. But I guess kind of to let you in on what my strategy, what my strategy is, I actually bought some Solana right in this candle. So this past week, just a couple of days ago, because I was waiting for this to happen. I saw price coming up here. And I saw that we were in this handle portion right here. So I was waiting until we saw a nice move up. And so I actually was waiting for the right moment. So I actually bought right in here just a few days ago because I saw this was breaking out and it retested. And then we also have some support from volume, and even the RSI is kind of holding this 50 line when it comes to momentum. So when it's above this 50 line, that means momentum is positive, bullish to the upside. And so it's kind of holding that level of momentum to the upside. So I think this is a great place to get in. But again, you know that these videos, excuse me, are all for entertainment purposes. Do your own research, do your own due diligence. This is not financial advice, but I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing, and hopefully you can learn from that. So my price target officially at some point will be 4,400 per Solana coin. I do think it's possible to get there in this cycle, but I'm more confident in the fact that it will get to 4,400 at some point than I am that it will happen this cycle. And I just bought in. I would just continue. I'll probably buy a little bit more as long as price continues to go up, and I probably won't look to sell for a little while. So that's what I'm doing. If you like this type of content, make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe for stuff like this. Thanks so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.